Well, this was a moment when I decided, with the way things have been going lately, I'd kind of get back on here to carve again. I think at this time we're going to start doing a little demonstration of how we carve these cardinals. I've got enough blanks cut out to carve four of them. I think that a couple that I made at a one time that I finished with by putting them in the red dye and all, a couple of them they sold well. I carved out a few last summer that I finished them off, sanded them, but didn't paint them or dye them or any of that stuff. Just sent them to this lady, and she painted them herself to put in her own gift shop and in California. And I just wanted to say that, like, we kind of have had that Santa carving challenge thing in the past. Decided this time around I might just do a little cardinal carving challenge and tell you a little bit more about what's going on in my life while I'm doing it. First of all, I want to tell you all that we are going to carve along these corners here like this. I'll tell you all that as far as my school cafeteria job is going, that I told you all about, that is something where I got back to doing that this week. Last Tuesday, we went to our new schools, or I went to my new school. Everybody kind of went to their own school or whichever cafeteria they were working at, where we just kind of started out the year with a special meeting and getting the kitchen ready and things like that. And then we kind of had, at one of the middle schools, we had a couple of days of an in-service meeting where we had everybody get together for training, and that was what we kind of did for that very moment. Even my manager from the school I used to go to was sort of the one who was leading the group that one day, and then my new manager's supervisor was doing it for the second of those days. I think this time around, it's been a stressful summer because I didn't know what the new year was going to bring, but feel like things have gotten better this time, and because I finally know where I am, know where I'm going, finally got to meet some of my good new co-workers. And while we're talking about the rest of that, we're going to do this very same step on this next cardinal. We're getting little chips everywhere, so that's nothing new. It happens all the time, but I'll tell you all a little bit more about how that line of work is going. I'd say that, we have another meeting tomorrow morning at one of the high schools. That's where we have to get ready to go. This high school I'm working at this year is the one from which I graduated. I'd say on Tuesday we're going to go back just to kind of do a little more work in our own schools and get things a little more ready, and then finally in the end there shall come the time when we're going to get around and get down to having the kids back in school. The kids are going to start in school again on Wednesday, so that's going to be a day of work for us. That'll be a day when I'll be back on my regular schedule, get to go into work, as a matter of fact, at 11:30, which is going to be a good thing for me, getting my extra sleep, getting my extra time in the morning to rest and relax. Most people who know me know that I'm not a morning person to begin with, but there's little things that change a little more older we get. I'm getting to a point where I'm getting old enough that can't be out late at night, and with all my special needs and all the money I make and all the things my parents still do for free, I'd say that's one of the main reasons why I get to afford all kinds of nice things, and sometime or another I'll show you all these little taxidermy trophies that I've bought off of Etsy. I have had an American iguana for over a year, but just recently purchased a taxidermy of a Mexican iguana along with one of a jackal. And sometimes I think these people, they sure get their animals supplied to them. And sure have had a lot of fur pelts too to hang on my wall. Once or twice even made some little cuddly pillows out of my pelts. I do also want to mention that as for the meetings I had last week, you know, they were hard. I mean, I had to get up way early in the morning for them, not get enough sleep, and then we kind of went into our special meetings where we just had to sit for a long time. And for me, I tell y'all that I get really claustrophobic when I'm in a little room that is crowded with people, and we had to sit at these little desks in there, those little desks that kind of like just sort of have them where the seat is attached and nothing underneath the desk. Like, I'd say at my elementary and high school it was a little bit different, but at those ones it's like, you know, the desk is just a flat top and the seat is attached to it, kind of like they had at my middle school here in Fayette County, and even at that one where I stayed at, to that matter. I mean, I tell y'all that in our lives, you know, the times we kind of go through the things we go through, there's been a lot to say and a lot to do in those days. I worked a lot and said a lot, and I tell y'all, it's like those were kind of the years of our lives. We all had our good old days. And sometimes, just sometimes, can bring back old reminders as well. You know, there was a lot to go through in those meetings, so much that on each of those days I came home dead tired and exhausted, kind of needing to take naps. One of my little taxidermies, in fact one of a crow that came from England, came in the mail on Wednesday after I sat through that meeting. And like with me, I sort of like use my little keys to break open the packing tape on those packages, and sometimes I'll use my car key or my house key or whatever's on my key ring. And then I think as a result of that, and being as tired as I was while opening the package, so anxious to get what I had out, it kind of happened that laid my keys down there in the floor among all that, and woke up the next morning, couldn't find them when I needed to go out to my meeting. So, and my dad has over in his office copies of the house key and my car key in case I ever lock myself out or lock my keys in and he needs to come take care of little things. So we kind of take care of that as we can, and we got that taken care of. And so I kind of took the car key from his office to drive my own car with, and then kind of like down the road we went, and I say had to hurry on out so I could get a parking space. Didn't have time to look for the key ring, but sure enough, thought about it while I was out and came home, and they left the doors open, unlocked, so I could get in. And because I didn't have a house key with me either, and thought about where I had them yesterday, retraced my steps around to where that was, and sure enough, found it. I'd say we kind of got these little sharp edges done along here. Think that for a beginning to a video, we've kind of made it so far. One more thing I'd like to mention about a crow was that was one thing I wanted a taxidermy of as a kid, and squirrels and a lot of things like it. And as a kid, my mom always used to tell me, I will not have any taxidermed animals in my house. When you get your own house, you can get them. And kind of turned out that ended up getting my own space in their basement to keep them in. So it was clean enough, good enough, and all the ways we kind of reconstructed down there. Finally had a place to keep it all, and it all just worked out really good. And so many of these creatures, I've just learned in my life how hard they can be to take care of when they are real, when they are living, when you have them as your pets, how they can languish when they don't get the proper care, or die when they don't get the proper care. And that's one reason why I'd say the taxidermies of them just suit me fine, because just kind of makes it so it's almost like having it as a pet itself. It almost looks real, looks alive. So that's what I like about them so much. And as we know, it's getting time here to end this video now. I'm going to have to put a new set of tags on it, and want to tell you all that I hope you will take care and stay safe. Goodbye.